Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Taurus January 2018 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing is, well, as far as January goes, the sun will be in Capricorn from the 1st until the 20th. So the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, there might be a lot of attention put into and a lot of focus and concentration of energy, perhaps on structure and discipline in one's religion, a philosophical outlook. There might be a lot of caution associated with 9th house matters, such as perhaps long distance traveling, a lot of premeditation and planning before embarking on maybe any long distance journeys. Maybe even if it was to take up a new philosophy or a new religion, or even something connected with higher education. But there could still be a very strong concentration of energy in these 9th house matters. Now, as far as January goes, the sun will be in Aquarius from the 20th until the 31st. So for Taurus, the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, there could be strong attention, concentration of energy, and real focus connected with 10th house matters, with being in a sun in Aquarius. So you're looking at showing maybe uniqueness, ingenuity, perhaps even in career-related matters. It could also be perhaps a lot of this concentration of energy and focus on humanitarianism, on selflessness, which could have an impact on one's public image, one's reputation. It could also doing things that are ingenious and showing uniqueness in one's career related matters. Could also, I mean, being in, they were talking about the 10th house, this is could improve stature in life, perhaps as well. And also there might be a strong focus, attention on the dominant parent, which is often the father. And it could be where you might, I mean, Aquarius is the unusual, so you might feel more maybe an unusual amount of attention you might be focusing on perhaps the dominant parent, which is often the father, and at this time, and that person could even have maybe even a strong, I mean, you look at, you're talking about the sun can be connected with the father, so there could be a strong in terms of the sun, the father perhaps impacting the career in 10th house matters, maybe in some way, which was very, talk about Aquarius energy, in rather unpredictable and unanticipated manner. So anyway, the next thing is the new moon will be, I'm sorry, we're going to talk about the full moon. Full moon will be in Cancer, on January 2nd. So the 3rd house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, well, this could be perhaps Taurus may be becoming full and tired of perhaps a clingy neighbor, perhaps in some cases. It could be perhaps even a sibling that might be lamenting over past hurts, someone that's overly sensitive, perhaps one that may be really reminiscing about negative things and ruminating over those things, and maybe Taurus becomes full and tired of it. Also remember, so I mean, we look at this, and the Cancer energy can be about, when you're talking about full moon, it could be very heightened safety and security issues. So it could indicate, full moon could indicate a completion of something. It could be the completion of something connected with your neighborhood. Maybe siblings were involved in some cases, and in terms of maybe making your neighborhood maybe more protected, like a neighborhood watch community. this could also be a completion of a communication project or endeavor which you nurtured and showed a lot of sensitivity toward at this time. So, I mean, those are some things to look at as far as that goes. Now, the new moon will be in Capricorn on January 16th, and the ninth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, well, this could be where Taurus may embark on perhaps a new higher education endeavor, so to speak, maybe a new college course that might be Capricorn related, such as something connected with business, government, politics, or some kind of management. And it could be the embarking on that. Perhaps it could also be something something new, like a new philosophy or religion that you take maybe very seriously. In some cases, this could be perhaps a new. You look at the ninth house is also connected with grandchildren and in-laws. Could it be maybe you have in some people it could be an arrival of one that you take very seriously and with a lot of responsibility in that new relationship, or it could simply be a newfound connection or relationship that is very serious, which you have a lot of show a lot of responsibility toward, and that could be with an in-law, or it could be with a grandchild. So those are some things really to look at as far as this goes. Really, another thing to look at is, okay, Mercury will be in Sagittarius as far as January goes, from the 1st until the 11th. So for Taurus, the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Taurus, well, Taurus may be really connected with speaking the veritable truth, so to speak, perhaps in matters connected with taxes, insurance, with perhaps somebody they're having an intimate relationship with. Taurus might show a lot more bluntness during this time and really maybe lack tact and diplomacy in those matters, and also could think very enthusiastically and with a lot of exuberance perhaps on making a major change or transformation in his or her life. So those are some things to look at as far as this goes. And also getting to Mercury in Capricorn. Well, Mercury will be in Capricorn as far as January goes, from the 12th until the 31st. So the ninth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time, well, Taurus needs to maybe be a little bit careful of perhaps maybe becoming melancholy or despondent, maybe over matters that are over in-laws, with grandchildren, perhaps with communications with them, I should say, even with matters connected with maybe abstract thinking, higher education, thinking overly pessimistic about these things. And also at this time too, on one positive end, Taurus may show some disciplined and really thinking in a rather disciplined manner about ninth house matters as well, such as in-laws, grandchildren, traveling, higher education, doing these actions with a lot of premeditation and forethought before actually taking action in any of these matters. So remember that Mercury also governs short journeys, so this could be also about taking some rather serious, perhaps short journeys with in-laws, with grandchildren, perhaps maybe to places where you really where you're kind of maybe giving yourself more education, or maybe to a college or university, perhaps where maybe a place where you can further your education. So anyway, next thing is, well, as far as January goes, Venus will be in Capricorn from the 1st until the 17th. So the ninth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus at this time. So for Taurus, this could be about really perhaps love. There could be a love of going by the book, so to speak, working within parameters connected with higher education, with religion, being very orthodox, perhaps in ninth house matters, expressing enjoyment in that. It also could be, in some cases, if Taurus is unattached, Taurus may meet or connect with somebody that could be a prospective significant other. It could be an older person in another country, or it could be, in some cases, it could be a Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or it can be somebody that simply embodies those characteristics, somebody that could be very conservative, conventional, orthodox, responsible, and rather mature. So, anyway, and also it could be about perhaps making money through some kind of business venture, maybe in another country. Perhaps it could be doing a Capricorn-like endeavor, such as something with government work or business or politics. Something where, I mean, it could even be just doing general work, like general mundane like work. So anyway, well, the next thing is Venus, as far as January goes, will be in Aquarius from the 17th until the 31st. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So for Taurus at this time, well, it could be about expressing perhaps enjoyment and a love for innovation, for things that are eclectic, esoteric subjects. It could be enjoyment expressing ingenuity and uniqueness in one's career. At also perhaps enjoyment in expressing selflessness, humanitarianism, which could have an impact, of course, on one's reputation, the public image. It could be some unanticipated spending you might decide to do for the dominant parent, which is often the father. I mean, Aquarius energy, of course, could be rather unusual, could be very unpredictable. It could also be maybe buying things connected with electronics or computers for a dominant parent, which is often the father. If you're friendly with an authority figure, this could be something where you might get that person maybe some kind of Aquarius-like gift. So, and also it could be through making money through something Aquarius-like, and it could be, of course, in your career. So something, I mean, in Aquarius, I mean, there's a wide divergence of things. It could be something connected with computers or electronics, esoteric subjects such as astrology, and maybe something of an unusual nature. So, I mean, robotics, I mean, it could just, anyway. Well, the next thing is, well, Mars will be in Scorpio as far as January goes from the 1st until the 26th. So the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, it needs to be a little bit prudent and cautious because Mars and Scorpio energy can be rather vengeful and vindictive, and it could be where maybe you might be expressing anger at perhaps a significant other, a marriage partner, perhaps arguments that are connected with you being jealous or the other person as well. And those situations may be a little bit more contentious and acrimonious than usual. It could also be putting a lot of energy and vitality into Scorpio-like matters, perhaps in a business partnership with somebody. It could be connected with astrology, the occult, supernatural, magic, alchemy, forensics, some kind of investigation. And it could also be at this time about being more aggressive in matters connected with open adversaries. And a lot of the battles can be ones that are used with a lot of, I guess maybe a lot of Scorpio-like sarcasm and being and really in doing so with a lot of this passionate and intense Scorpio-like energy. So anyway. Well, next thing is, as far as January goes, Mars will be in Sagittarius from the 26th until the 31st. So for Taurus, the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Taurus, this could be perhaps putting a lot of exuberant and enthusiastic-like energy into 8th house matters. It could be, I mean, sex could be one of them. It could be also about putting an end to things. The 8th house is associated with death. And it could be about a figurative ending that Taurus does with a lot of expansive energy and feeling very positively in doing so. Could also be that there may be more the situation with perhaps a sexual partner, somebody you're having an intimate relationship, may be more acrimonious and contentious and disputatious at this time, where the arguing can be done with a lot of the Sagittarius-like joking, although it's not really joking, if you know, may not be joking, if you know what I'm saying. It could be done with humor, but where you're actually putting the person down and saying things of a derisive nature to him or her, and it can go back and forth. Where anyway, and also this could be about energy that could be expended in the outdoors and with sports, perhaps with that intimate someone you're having an intimate relationship with, or sexual relationship with. So anyway, well, the next thing is, well, Jupiter will be in Scorpio still, so the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, well, this could be about, keep in mind that Jupiter can be paradoxical. I mean, it's mainly benign and benevolent, but it could also have the propensity to expand and enlarge, and it could expand surreptitious activities, perhaps with open adversaries, with a significant other, a marriage partner. At the same time, one may have some luck, perhaps in fortune, connected with making a major transformation or change in one's relationships. It can be with others in general. This could also be about perhaps you look at Jupiter and Scorpio, and this could also be about luck, perhaps doing a Scorpio-like thing in maybe a business partnership, perhaps. I mean, whether it could be astrology, the occult, something connected with investigation. It could also be luck in being triumphant over open adversaries with Scorpio-like resourcefulness and guile and using inner fortitude. So anyway, people, the next thing is Saturn will be in Capricorn, so the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, well, Taurus might experience certain restrictions and limitations, perhaps in traveling, higher education. It might, in some cases, might be connected with some kind of government restriction, maybe at the time. This could also be, I mean, something where in some cases you may be wind up taking care of or dealing with a debilitated in-law or grandchild, and might be causing maybe you maybe making you feel a little bit despondent or melancholy, or it might be that person might be going through some depression that you're actually dealing with and helping out. So anyway, this could also be about taking serious responsibility in 9th house matters such as religion, your philosophy, higher education, and maybe dealing with foreigners in some cases as well. Anyway, the next thing is Uranus will still be in Aries, of course, so the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, there may be some continued where your private life might be erratic and sporadic. In some cases, you could have more disruptions in sleep than usual. This could also be about maybe expressing maybe some really ingenuity in expressing an innovative side, and a pioneering one as well, but maybe not coming out with your ideas, because remember, this is the 12th house we're talking about. And it could also be more of an unusual need for seclusion and solitude than usual. I actually have Uranus transiting my 12th house in my natal chart, and for me, I mean, I've had even more of that need, maybe an even unusual need for introversion and solitude and seclusion at this time than usual. So it could also be, I mean, there might be some unusual activity that may be going on behind the scenes. Keep in mind, I mean, the 12th houses also are hidden adversaries or hidden enemies. So there might be somebody that may be, a hidden adversary, that might be somebody connected, with something Uranus-like, such as an esoteric field or innovation, electronics, computers. It could be somebody that could be like an electrician, or somebody doing something else that may be Uranus-like. So Anyway, the next thing is Neptune will still be in Pisces, of course, so the 11th house will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, well, Taurus may experience some duplicity and deception in matters connected with friends, acquaintances, and also there could be a dissolving of those things as well. I have Neptune transiting my 11th right now, and it's really, I'm having, my friendships are dissolving, really like there's no tomorrow, whether it's somebody dropping me from Facebook or what have you. Also, this could be about expressing perhaps imagination with friends, with acquaintances. It could be that something Neptune-like plays a role in your aspirations and goals, such as photography, chemistry, the metaphysical, which can include astrology, something of a spiritual nature as well. Anyway, well, the next thing is Pluto will still be in Capricorn, so the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, well, first thing is a lot of people don't want to hear that dreaded D word, but here I go again. I gotta say, because it is connected with Pluto. In some cases, it could be where one experiences the death of an in-law, even a grandchild in some isolated cases. There could be more of a propensity to die in a foreign country if Taurus especially is an avid traveler. Most Taurus people aren't. But still, also this could be about where maybe terrorism might impact Taurus' decision to maybe take a long distance journey. Taurus, of course, is very prudent and cautious by nature, and very, Taurus doesn't generally do anything unless there's a lot of premeditation involved. This could also be about the obliteration, perhaps, of a philosophy, of a religious belief in some cases. So, anyway, well, the next thing is the North Node is going to be in Leo still, so the 4th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, well, this could be about perhaps where Taurus might have to confront issues maybe with extravagance in their home and family life. It could be where they have to spend more money, where they have to be more magnanimous and generous, so to speak, in those matters. It could be about taking pride and dignity in who Taurus is at the core. And also, this could be about perhaps even looking at the 4th. It could also be about dealing with somebody that might be a domineering family member. Sometimes it could be the mother even, because the 4th house is over the less dominant parent, which is generally the mother. This could be about taking pride and dignity in one's traditions and maybe spending more time generously connected with them. Well, next thing is the Black Moon Lilith will be in Capricorn still, so the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, well, this could be about, excuse me, people. At this time for Taurus, this could be perhaps about an unveiling of somebody that could be, that could play a role in your religious life. Sometimes it could be an in-law, a grandchild even, that could be expressing a tyrannical or ruthless or very authoritative type manner. In some cases, too, this could be about an unveiling or revelation, maybe of a depressing philosophy. You might have one that might seem rather restricting or limited. And keep in mind, too, that when the Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn, and you're talking about 9th house, this could be about an open adversary, or I should say a formidable adversary may come out that might be a Capricorn in some cases, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply embody those characteristics, and could be somebody that might be revealed, perhaps if you're in religion, if you're in some congregation. It could be somebody where you meet, you encounter, during a long distance travel. In some isolated cases, this could be an in-law. This could be somebody that it could be a grandchild in some very isolated cases, of course. It could be somebody that you're connected with in higher education, maybe in one of your classes, somebody that you go to college with, perhaps. So anyway, last but not least, Chiron will still be in Pisces, so the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So, well, this could be about Taurus experiencing wounds, perhaps experiencing maybe suffering due to gullibility, to being deceived by friends, gullibility in connection with friends and acquaintances, maybe even being duped by them. This could also be in some cases where maybe you might get hurt by friends that are involved with drugs. They could be involved in alcohol. Also, this could also be about some suffering you may be going through due to maybe deluding yourself in terms of your objectives, your aspirations, maybe it's about self-delusion in connection with objectives and aspirations and your goals, maybe thinking that the ones you choose are really going to benefit you more than you actually think, and they might be ones that are unrealistic and may not really make that much it really may not give you that much headway in life, so to speak, and really be that productive for you or beneficial. But maybe you might think they are. And anyway, on the positive side, though, remember that Chiron could also be a healer. It's the wounded healer. So you might be helping people deal with, maybe in some cases, you could be helping others maybe that have been duped by friends, perhaps being gullible and not and maybe because they believed what their friends said and they got hurt because they believed them, for example, or maybe even people that are dealing with Pisces, like you could say Pisces like wounds, or they're going through the similar suffering that you're going through in general, such as perhaps even maybe deluding themselves in connection with aspirations and goals, self-deception, etc. But you might be able to help them using that Pisces-like compassion and self-sacrifice. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Taurus January 2018 horoscope forecast. Stay tuned next time where I'll be giving you my Gemini January 2018 horoscope forecast. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person astrologically speaking based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.